I think you guys can see me. Peace YouTube, this is FleurBrun coming to you today with another topic of discussion. Hey everyone, I've been gone for a little bit. Hello, let me know that you can hear me, see me. Hey Capricorn, hey my New York Queens gal. Are you still in Queens? Oh, thank you, my love. Thank you. Hello, hello. I'll wait until, I love you too. I'll wait until everyone kind of checks in. You can hear me? Perfecto. Oh, I miss you too. I'm so sorry. Hey, Nicholas. Hey, Jordan. Hey, Michael. Hey, Monica. Hey, Taste to Melanin, which is Aqua. Hey, Celestial. Oh, I missed you too. I'm so sorry. Hello, y'all resurrected me. Hello, hello. Hey, loves. You still in Queens? That's what I'm talking about. Peace to the east, the west, the north, and the south. This is FleurBrun coming to you today from Colombia. Yes, I'm in Colombia, so I know I've been gone for a little bit, and I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to leave you guys for so long. Hey, Eric. I know I've been MIA. I just wanted to check in because I was getting so many emails. Hey, Jasmine. I took a little hiatus. Now, right before I was about to do this live, everything turned off. So I almost felt like the extraterrestrials were intercepting that. Hey, girl, Figgy. See, I said Figgy, not Fidgy. I want to say Fidgy so bad. I say it all the time. Hey, Karen. Hey, my loves. Hey, Charlene. Hey, Cosmic. Hey, whatever. Hey, Posters Commuter. I missed you too. I'm so sorry. I know I've been gone, right? So much has happened. So let's get into it. I am out of the country. I'm back in South America. Hey, Apollonia. I'm back in South America. I'm in Colombia. So buenas noches for everyone. Hola. Jonkas in the house. I like to say junkers, right? So like I said, I apologize for being gone for so long. I took a little hiatus. Yes, the 13th is tomorrow, right? I took a little hiatus. I'm just come up for air a little bit. Was someone already, someone was already timed out? I'm sorry. So, yes, I do look healthier when I'm in South America. Isn't it crazy? So, I wanted to come in, check in with everyone, say all is well gratefully, right? And to get into many topics of discussion, right? So, as you know, so much has happened since last we spoke, right? Hey, Kay. Hey, my love. So let me say buenas noches, buenas noches, hola. Hello. So, let's get into multiple topics of discussion, right? So since last we spoke, a lot has been happening, right? So gosh, where do we start? I think the last we spoke, right after that, there was a hit on the I think it was the what is it, the I'm trying to remember. Oh, it was the Guidestones. I won't get on to Kanye West as well. I can talk about whatever you would like to talk about. So we'll talk about what's happened with the Guidestones, how it's interrelated. I'm going to talk about the occurrences that have been happening over the last month. I think I've been out of the mix with you guys since, oh, thank you, Jamar. I appreciate the donation. Thank you. Thank you. Woo woo. Thank you. I appreciate it. So let's get into it. The Guidestones were destroyed, and that was the marker of the countdown. So many of you know I was actually in, oh my gosh, I was in Georgia at the time, right near the Guidestones before they were demolished. And at on the evening of the Guidestones, I was actually going to go over to take a look at them at the night during the same evening it happened. So I'm grateful I didn't, because they call us thank you, Crystal. Hey, Cyrus. They call us conspiracy theorists. So you can imagine if I stepped over at the Guidestones when that was destroyed, we'd be blamed for it, because everything is our fault, right? So, so luckily I did not go to the Guidestones that night, but I was right around there at the time it was destroyed. It also let me know that that was the countdown to reset. As we know, many of you already know, many of these years I prepared many of you. Hey, Riley. Oh, I miss you. I miss everyone. Oh, there's so many people here. That was the countdown. As you know, the Guidestones were aligned with what you perceive or to be as planets. Now, my consciousness has been raised, my awareness has gone skyrocketed. So the things that I knew before are now changed to things that I know now. So you'll hear me state things that are relative to what I know to be at this point. Yes. Oh, thank you for the donation. El Summers here writing from Atlanta. We are safe. Wish I knew you were here. I know, I came through. Thank you. Oh, Cubby's in the house. Hey, Cubby. Whoop, whoop. The Zombies are in the house. Let me stay on topic. So, because we know that was a countdown and we know that things are changing, we know that there's a reset coming about. Many of the things that are happening now are purposefully being done. Everything's being destroyed because the Dark Kabbalists are leaving. They're going to their hiding spots. Their hiding spots underneath or somewhere above. Now we're gonna go into concepts. I can't stay long. I gotta meet up with my Zombies. I promise. I felt so bad not coming to you earlier and kind of staying out the mix. Yes, Colombia is absolutely beautiful. Let me state this. I love the country of Colombia. I'm so grateful to be here. I'm so, the people of Colombia are so gracious and accepting. Big up to all the Colombianas in the house, all my Latino family from South America. I am right here. The only reason you see me in Colombia and not in Brazil is because they have an election that has caused a lot of destabilization, and there's a whole bunch going on, and my take on what's going on with Brazil. We'll kind of touch on that in the end, okay? So we'll get into what is going on with the reset. Now that you know the Guidestones were purposefully destroyed, don't you believe that it was a lightning strike? If you believe that, you're just as confused as the other ones who, like the sheeple who believe in anything that CNN, ABC, NBC tell you. That is not the case. That was purposefully destroyed because it does matter. And also the remnants of what was underneath the Guidestones, which literally was a time capsule. And I personally think that it wasn't just a time capsule. It was actually some information or a guide to what needs to happen next. Most of your food production is being stopped because they are leaving. They are leaving, and not only are they leaving, they're stopping everything that they needed when they were staying here. Who's leaving? All of those dark, satanic, Satanists, reptile, insectoid, whatever you call them, they are all gone. Okay, so they've all left. They're leaving. That's why you're seeing all these so-called celebrities supposedly, allegedly passing away. No, my loves, that is a lie. They are leaving, so they are faking their deaths, making it seem like they died so that you wouldn't question where they were during this time. That's why some celebrities that you see on television are literally showing themselves or ruining their so-called careers because it doesn't matter anymore. They got the bag, they got the check, and they're leaving. Okay? And because they already set up their underground bunkers, all that fake money, all that billions of dollars that Kazoo, your president, that actually he isn't the president of the United Fakes. You know that, right? Because there wasn't an inauguration. You do know that, right? And if you saw the false inauguration, you did see the Satanist book that, normally it's the Bible. You did see the upside down cross and everything like that, right? Just letting you know, okay? So they're leaving and they're destroying everything that they created here. This is a holographic holodeck that we're coexisting. Oh, thank you for the donation, Astru. Astro, whoop, whoop. They, this is a holodeck. Now, for those of you who are new to my channel or haven't seen me for a bit, you know that I understand that this is a holographic we're under a firmament, a globe, like a snow globe, kind of like, you know, when you shake a snow globe and like the fake snow comes down. We're in a terrarium of some sort, okay? We're encased in a terrarium with artificial intelligence kind of dedicating its field to creating and upholding the hologram. Okay, we're all interfacing. Most of the people you know aren't even real. They're NPCs. They're walking around. They look like people. They may even act like people, but a lot of times you can kind of differentiate an NPC from a real person because they loop a lot. You know, every time you see them, it's the same thing over and over and over again, right? So because of that, this particular reset is occurring. I call it the pole shift. Many of you have heard me over the years talk about the pole shift. So let's talk about, first was the guide stones were destroyed. That was purposefully done because that's a countdown. That's the beginning of the countdown of the destruction of all the infrastructure that was created in this particular loop, okay? So this loop before pre-reset or pre-pole shift or pre-cataclysm is purposefully done. It's been done over and over again. There isn't anything new, okay? And the fact of the matter is, they started doing their dissemination of different types of events because it is the end, okay? So now we are going towards a destruction of everything that would be maintaining, almost like if you're a laboratory rat. I hate to say that, right? Do I want to call us a rat? Like, I hate to say that because rats aren't as diabolical, but they do bring the bubonic plague. And you do know that during the Chinese astrological sign of the rat is when the so-called pandemic came about, right? So let me put this out there. I hope everybody's healthy and safe. I hope that you have made it past the pandemic, the fake institution of fear mongering and disseminating a geoengineered germ to cause mass hysteria so that people would give away their biological rights. Thank you. I'll get into the Eric Summers. No, I don't think it's a safe place, but I'll definitely talk about, thank you for donation, Maria. Woo woo, thank you, my loves. I appreciate it. Lab squirrels. Riley called us lab squirrels. I like that, Riley. Because they've disseminated that was the beginning of becoming to making people complicit or complacent to allow themselves to be biologically, chemically altered, okay? And unfortunately for those who chose the Cucarachi kill shot, you do know that you are now a biological property of your Willy Wonka systems, okay? They now own you because now they've altered your genetic makeup and they've low-jacked you to this firmament, this holographic system, and you will be recycled back into another hologram after reset. And when it starts all over again, the building up society, adding the artificial children back into, the different cities that will be emptied out, almost like the Tatarian society. Am I going over your head a little bit, y'all? Or should I slow down? Tell me. Just let me know if I'm going too far because I've got so much to catch up on. And I'm a talker and a chatter. So let me know if I'm going too fast. I am, we talk fast in New York and I am Creole. So a little bit of the French tongue underneath makes me talk a little fast. Thank you. Apollonia talked about the actual, thank you, Bridget, that actual orphan trains, okay? Okay, so let me keep going. So the fact of the matter is they are resetting society. They are going to recycle everyone who's decided to take, the Christians will call it the mark of the beast. Isn't it interesting that the very people that were socially engineered and suffering from Stockholm Syndrome, which some still are, even if they have a lot of information based on knowing how the cataclysm comes, maybe they call it the apocalypse, or they'll call it the, what do they call it? what is it called? Revelations, right? They'll call it that, but still in itself, it is a reset and it is purposefully done. So that's why they don't really worry about religious people, because they're still suffering from a cap of their consciousness. Because if you accept that something outside of yourself that's artificial, most likely AI instituted, is literally a fixture that is guiding your life, and that everything dark here is purposefully done by God or gods, then you're truly confused. Okay, so if you've taken the Kukarachi kill shot, you have tethered yourselves to the recycling. So those people, unfortunately, I'm so sorry. And I'm sorry for the family members that many of you have lost to them being recycled back into the system. And unfortunately, because of that, their lifespan most likely will be compromised, as we've been seeing. I think many of you, if you just look online and just take a look, don't go yonder. I don't know if you have Facebook or FaceLive, whatever it's called. If you look at all of the RIPs and see how many of your friends and family have died from the time 2020 has began to now, you realize that something is very wrong, okay? And don't believe the hype. Don't believe the images that were shown previous to 2020 of people that were dropping and supposedly dying from some false flag that was going abroad. That was the setup. That was the setup to make you frightened enough and concerned enough for yourself and families to compromise your own biological autonomy. That's the problem. Okay, so unfortunately, that is what they did as a social engineering pre-programming to allow for society to see what was going on in Chinois' neck of the woods, so that you would opt in into their biological experimental genocide. I don't want to go any further because it's quite sad, and you'll notice a lot of people passed away. And I'm very sorry for anyone who's lost someone during this period of time, but do know that if they have a soul, that they will, basically, the soul doesn't die. Okay, the only time a soul kind of dissipates and gets destroyed is if something else literally eats the zest of the soul, and that takes, certain kind of agreements, certain kinds of, drugs or alcoholism to a heightened degree. And as far as I know, it really can't even get rid of the soul. And do know that Willy Wonka has made sure that the society that he has instituted and preparing for the basic destruction of the purge, he has made sure that everyone is nice and complicit with all of these geoengineered wonderful, because your president, your holographic president, Kazoo, made sure that on your tax money, what did he do? He made sure that he sent on your tax money, allegedly, because I haven't received a crack pipe. So some of you have gotten your crack pipes already and your drug paraphernalia, because remember, Willy Wonka wants you nice and complicit, because a nice drug addict and a nice alcoholic, someone who's so deeply engrossed in wine and spirits and sipping on the yak and so high and puffed magic dragon, can't really fight. You can't fight because you're so high and complicit and you're apathetic, while Willy Wonka destroys everything that it created and instituted in this holographic experience. So thank Willy Wonka for all of these distilleries that you see in everywhere you go. I had a chance to, unfortunately, see some of the distilleries that they had in New York City, and I'm very sad that this is happening. And for mothers who have teens and who have those young people who are in their 20s, please hug them and talk to them and talk about the geoengineered chief that they're instituting and they're creating with pop rocks and lollipops and all kinds of candies that they're basically creating drugs so that children feel it appropriate and wouldn't be able to differentiate candy from drugs. Okay, and I wanted to put the FYI here. Big up to the C-Star who shared this on Zoom. Do mothers watch your children during this Halloween season during your trick-or-treating? If you're deciding to engage in the process of trick-or-treating, which is a cult activity, and you do know that Children's Day is the day after. Thank you, Tiffany. Oh my God, Fleur, it's so good to see you and hear your voice, Queen. I'm so excited. Oh, thank you, my love. Thank you for the donation. Thank you. I appreciate it. Um, so anyway, please watch them. They found fentanyl. I think it's fentanyl. One of the zombies, can you kind of, can you let me know if that's it again? Is it fentanyl? I think it's fentanyl that was in candies. I think they were nerds. Were they nerds in another one? What was the other one? Nerds and what's the other candy? I forgot the other candy. It's another candy. Watch your children during this Halloween season. You know, the Satanists, you know, they like to gather up the little people and they're getting very desperate. Skittles. Thank you, my love. Thank you, Gianni. Thank you. Oh, and they found Chief and gummy worms. Oh, we're living in a beautiful. Hey, DJ. So anyway, please watch the little ones. There are demons running around. And I will say this, one of the reasons that you haven't seen me for a while is because you need to watch your children from lurkers and kidnappers. Many of you need to watch when you're going to your cars, touching your car doorknobs, watching that they don't put things in your cars. Young ladies, you need to watch what you do. I know you're talking to your sweetie. I know you're talking to your mate on the phone when you go into the gas station, but you need to be well aware of your surroundings. Because it's reset and they're trying to get their last minute treats, human treats before they go underground, they're snatching women and children left and right. Okay. And mothers, watch your babies, not even just your little girls. You need to watch the little boys more because that's their preference. All these years you've been worried about them touching little girls. Yes, they do that, but their preference is the little boys. Okay. So let's get past that. I don't want to ponder on that. So we have reset. They are destroying all the factories. You've seen that they destroyed all the food factories, all of the factories that hold the food, the mills, and you think that's by chance. You think that all of these food distribution places are just blowing up. You know, that's just magically happening. No, that is purposefully done because the experiment is over. The lab rats are going to be destroyed and they don't need to give food to those there anymore. You have to be autonomous. We talked about this before. I've spoken about it and I'll speak about it again. Creating your own food, your own infrastructure, being outside of the perimeters of being, having to, thank you, Alchemy. Thank you, my love. Appreciate it. Being outside of the spectrum of their ownership. Like if you still pay Willy Wonka for gasoline, for electricity, that's on you. You need to be autonomous. If you still purchase all of your food, the majority of your food from Willy Wonka's chemicalized GMO systems, remember, there isn't any food in the United States. The United States is creating genetically altered food. It is literally poisoning America. Most Americans' adrenal system is so shot because the majority of food that you're eating, and especially the vegetables, if it isn't coming from a compost system, you're eating basically like eating paper. You probably get more nutrition from eating a paper bag than you will by eating any of your vegetables from the grocery stores. I need everyone here to be autonomous. Stay away from their electricity because electricity is dirty. You know that they have all of these chemicalized systems where they have tons of radiation dumping and triangulating on every neighborhood. If you're living in the hood, you need to build a Faraday cage around your apartment or in your little space so that when you go in your home or when you go outside, you aren't constantly being radiated. Okay, that's just a little suggestion. So because they're destroying all the food distilleries, they're going to destroy all of the energy, natural energy ways for you to get energy, like through gasoline or through some form of autonomous is just being independent of anything outside of you. Our ancestors were able to climb on trees, get mangoes, get fresh papaya, have fresh cherries, have fresh pears, grow their own greens. The majority of things that our ancestors did, we grew everything. We had everything. I'm so sorry, Cosmic Knowing. I'm sorry to hear about that. It's unfortunate. A lot of people who got, I'm not gonna just blame everyone who got the shot. A lot of people are getting sick from being exposed to those who decided to take the Cucaracha kill shot. So those being exposed long-term to people who chose to compromise their biological autonomy, they're getting sick as well. So I'm sorry to hear that. I wish them well. And again, in this unfortunate, dark, satanic firmament that we're under, it is basically purge time. It is literally It is Purge. The Hunger Games is coming up next. I hope everyone has decided to opt out. I rebuke the Hunger Games, the Purge, and what's the other one? The Handmaid's Tale. Okay. People were forced to work for pay. No, you weren't ever first forced to do anything. Remember, this particular matrix that we coexist in does have a couple things that have to do with the universal laws within this prison system. You aren't forced. You had a choice to take the shot. The work that many people claim that they were being compromised, that they would lose their jobs, that was to trick you. You weren't ever. The universe always allows you to protect yourself. So even if you felt pressed against the wall, if you conceded, it's because you weren't able to stay in your autonomy and your biological sovereignty and say, you know what, regardless of anything, I won't participate in their social and biological chemicalized genetics, genocide game. So as much as people were forced and pushed against the wall, I know plenty of people who said, I don't care what happens. My biological healthiness is more important than a paycheck. Because I know people, especially in beautiful Colombia, South America, I know people who are living very fork to mouth, and they live well. The problem is in the United States and in many of the so-called first world countries, we prioritize new sneakers, having laptops that destroy our endocrine system. We prioritize, having fresh cars, fresh haircuts. We prioritize those things over our biological autonomy. Once you choose you, everything around you changes. Remember, this is a hologram. So as within, so without. So as you thinketh, so shall it appear to you. So once you chose yourself, your whole environment would choose you as well. You have to always do what is right for you, healthy for you and your family. There isn't anyone outside of yourself that is going to take care of you when you're sick, as many of these people who have so-called passed away, allegedly, have passed away. Did they think that Willy Wonka was going to come and save them when they were on their darkest days and being unhealthy because of the things that they chose? No. There isn't anyone who's going to help you, y'all. I've told you before, the only one who's going to help you is you. There isn't any space aliens coming. The Andromedans aren't coming to help you. The Archons aren't really going to do anything but try to destroy you. You are the only one who can help and protect yourself. And all over the years, though, people have called me cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, because they like to call me names. Call me all kinds of names and say I was paranoid. Oh, FleurBrun, you're paranoid. Like, what was it, 11 years ago? I said, listen, they're going to do something to destroy, people and try and, take them out. But, people thought I was losing my mind. And now you see that everything is coming to fruition. And I don't like to say that that's a good thing, but I'm just saying that sometimes 11 years ago, right? It's crazy. I've been on YouTube a long time, right? Okay, so let's get into that. So let's get past that. Let's go a little further. So those of you who have chose to, take your physical autonomy and hold that and hold your sovereignty in this matrix, there is a couple stages that are happening. Now the destruction of your food source that most people have been eating from. Oh, and let me give a FYI to anyone who eats chickens and mass destruction. You know how I feel about chickens and mass destruction. And unless you're living outside the United States, where you could probably eat chickens that are brown, that are basically, transitioned that day before you consume them, that after the Jewish holiday, they do put the spirits, their evil spirits, in the chicken, right? And those chickens, because they can't throw them out, they are donated to many different facilities. And I'm sure that Kentucky Fried Chicken, Church's Chicken, and your friend, what was the one that has the chicken sandwiches? What was the one with the chicken sandwiches? What was the one? What is it? Gosh darn it. What's the one with the chicken sandwiches? Popeye's chicken. Y'all, say no to the chicken. They put their demons in the chickens and they donate it. That's why you see chickens probably on sale right now. Stay away from the chicken sandwich. Chick-fil-A. Chicken and mass destruction. They're donating the chicken. So if you see in like Popeyes got the pop-in sale on the chicken sandwiches, remember the chicken challenge? The chicken challenge is coming, y'all. So if you start seeing TikTok, oh, I got a chicken sandwich. As many chickens, it's a setup. You want to eat their demons, you eat the chicken right now. Okay? So I just say for you, that Jewish holiday that they have, where they take the chickens and they throw it on and they put all their demons up in that chicken. We talked about it last year. I don't want to be a reiterator of negativity, but it is what it is. Stay away from it. If you can go to a farm, listen, I don't mess with chickens, the United States. I don't really like chickens like that because people used to blame the pork, but chickens have as much worms. And then we're going to talk about the constant bombarding of people to get them used to eating bugs. Okay, this is all a setup, y'all. Because remember, when you're living in these underground facilities, when they take you into these FEMA camps to feed you, they're not going to give you some amazing can or pollo or, you know, or anything like that. They're going to give you some bugs. That's why they're getting children into it. That's why you're seeing all these videos talking about, oh, bugs are okay. Oh, it's good. They're telling you what they're going to do. They already put bugs in your food if you didn't know it. And that's why when you eat your so-called not meat eating foods, it may say no animal products, but it doesn't say no bug products, and it certainly doesn't say no human products, okay? Just because it's not animal doesn't mean it's correct. If you don't make it, see it, play it, pick it, cross it, raise it, it's not for you. So please, if you don't like cricket salads, if you don't want to eat cockroaches, because roaches are the #1 on the list, they could tell you there's a very small, minuscule difference between a cockroach and a cricket. You wouldn't know the difference when they put it into powder form, would you? So I'm just saying, y'all, unless you want to eat what they're distributing, you need to become sovereign in the way that you create your food. Because if you're creating it and you're doing it yourself, you know exactly what products are in there. Do not trust Willy Wonka right now. All food distributions are being shut down, and anything, if you look at the organic foods, look at how high the organic foods are. You've got organic foods that are going like eggs, normally organic eggs that were brown. And also for those males, let me give a little tip. I got so much to talk about. I don't even think I could get it down, but this is the only video I'm going to make for a while, y'all. So I'm trying to get it all out. Try to get eggs that are soy-free. It says soy-free, and I know it's more costly for everyone, and unfortunately, unless you're raising your own eggs, that you would do it. But for our gentlemen whose Johnsons are still working, whose wands are still functioning, make sure that you are only consuming, because they're shutting down men's wands left and right. And I hope there's no children. I don't want to go left, but FleurBrun, it's not after dark. And if y'all want to come back with me on Zoom tonight, we get it in and we get a little more loosey-goosey. So I'm just saying, for men, just make sure that you are staying away from soy products. And it's very interesting that they're putting it in everything, in your eggs and chicken. You know that most animals are given, especially chickens, are giving soy products to consume, and also other animals. So even though you may not see the soy straight out into your products, the animals, if you're consuming animals, most likely they're giving you soy. So if your Johnson isn't working, if your wand isn't as masterful as it was maybe before 2020, I'm just giving you a little FYI. Say 0 to soy. Anything is an estrogen, it's something that has estrogen in it, the plastic bottles, because they're shipped and plastic kind of leaches in. I don't care if it's BPA free. What's the other chemicals in the other bottles that don't have BPA? They don't tell you that, right? So just make sure men, because I know a lot of men who are having issues with their wands, and those especially who got the cucaracha kill shot. So make sure, Poco Loco. Denise said Poco Loco. Oh, the Zoom tonight is at, what time is it, y'all? I'm in Colombia, so it's, hold on. What time is Colombia? I'm in 9 o'clock. What time is it now? Do you guys know what time it is? I'm in Central Time in the United States. Okay, so I'm in Colombia, so I'm an hour before my Eastern time. So that's what time. And usually I do it at 9 o'clock Eastern. Eastern time. Oh, wait, Eastern time. Okay, so you just to come on that's just for Patreon. That's the only one who come on Patreon. We come on. Those are for the zombies who come on here. Okay, so let's go a little further. So now we have them distributing bugs in your food, cricket stew, roach porridge, basically worms. And, big up to Aziza who shared a video. And Aziza, hopefully you'll share the video. Whoever comes on Patreon tonight, Aziza will share the video talking about the chronological order that they show of how we begin this reset in this loop. So we're coexisting in a loop. And in this loop, it has a certain certain hierarchy of how it disseminates. Like it'll destroy the whole society with the mud floods. Okay. And then after that, they will, after all the radiation, everything kind of, takes over the surface of this hologram, then they'll have these geoengineered, pod children that are created in these incubator. We call them the incubating children. The incubated children are geoengineered children that are raised in incubators. And then these dark Satanists, almost like priests. I think they're Borgs, personally. These Borgs come out to the surface and they start to reinstitute these children into the empty cities. That's why when you see ancient Mayan temples, they were empty. That's why when you go to ancient ruins of Kemet, they were empty because the reset had already happened. Those places are emptied out. And then that's why the people living over there in Kemet now are not the people who created the Kemet city, Kemet, Egypt, for those who don't know. You like to call it by the European name, right? So that they didn't build it, but they put new people in there, okay? So, oh, wow. In Lenka, you're in Brazil. I mean, you're in Colombia too. Good for you. Good for you. So, they reinstitute the children. They geoengineer the environment. They socially engineer the children to create new societies. They start slowly instituting the type of technology that they want. They already have their own currency, so they basically will create a false narrative of how currency is created, and then they'll start the society over until it gets to a pinnacle point where it's at the highest point, and then it's almost like, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Jupiter's Ascending. Is it Jupiter's Ascending? Is it Jupiter's? It's a Jupiter. Is it Jupiter's Ascending, y'all? I think it is, right? Is it Jupiter's Ascending or Jupiter's? I think so. Jupiter's Ascending. Okay, Jupiter's Ascending. Remember when at so they waited for the society to get to a certain point where they began to liquefy it, and it's almost like when thank you, Jupiter's Ascending. When they begin to get to a point when they can pick their fruit and they basically just liquefy it to consume it. Okay, so that's kind of where the society is now. And also be careful with everyone walking around. They're kidnapping women and children because they're very desperate. Their adrenochrome is growing low and they're under the ground. They want extra food underneath the ground. So young ladies, young men, everyone should just watch themselves right now. They want to basically take you under the ground while they're, waiting out the mud, the next reset. The next reset, as far as I know, is within 2 years. 2 or 3 years to give and I've always made the same prediction of when I know the reset is. The reset is the pole shift, okay? So the pole shift, so right before reset happens, they do have, and again, I'm gonna have Aziza share the video with anyone on tonight about the process of how they go through the dissemination of the loop before we go back into reset, where they basically destroy everything, everyone, and then start over again. Okay. Only those who raise a certain pinnacle consciousness, a certain kind of heightened vibration, are able to leave before the cataclysm. So before the reset is what is it called? The rapture. Is that what it's called? Where are my Christian people in here? Where are my Christians at? Y'all got some facts going on too. What is it called in the Muslim? Does the Torah have the same thing? I wonder if the Torah has the same thing. Did anyone read the Torah? The Torah or the Quran? Does the Quran have the same thing too, when there's this rapture that happens, right? The rapture happens right before reset. Okay. the rapture is connected to Christians, but I think in the Quran and I think also in the Torah, the Talmud, they do talk about, don't they talk about the rapture as well? I think they have it, right? I think they do. And I'm not proficient in that. So anybody who's read the Quran, can you tell me what it's called before the end? What it's called? Ah, bonsoir, bonsoir. Comment ça va? Ça va très bien. Et tout? I forgot what it's called. Anyone who knows the name, I would love to know the name of what do they call it? Armageddon? Okay, maybe Armageddon. It's called that. Okay. So right before the actual nuclear Holocaust, right before that happens, they always have worms on people, parasites. Now, also, I'm gonna get a lot of gross. I don't, I don't know if I should talk about this now. Okay, I'm gonna talk about it. You do know that within the Cucarachi kill shot. Now, a lot of us on Zoom have been watching this and it's kind of grody, so I don't want to gross you out. And if you have young ones, I always say this isn't conversation for little people. For mommies, daddies, abuelas, aunties, uncles, big sisters, big brothers, big cousins, put your earbuds on, because I don't think it's appropriate for children to hear that. I don't think it's healthy for them to hear things that could possibly frighten them and cause them a little bit of, lower vibration. So you're an adult, you can kind of disseminate and take in the information without necessarily letting it go too far. So I'm going to talk about the worms, okay? You know, I've talked about it before and about the squigglers that they were putting and disseminating inside of the Cucarachi kill shot, right? Come to find out, we found out that there were worms. They found these big blood clots that they were calling blood clots, and they were not blood clots. They are big worms they're finding in people. Remember the so-called people who work in the funeral homes who do the I hate when I don't remember certain terms that I use every day because I'm on here. Remember they do the when they suck out the morticians, but they do the, what are they, it's not the autopsy, it's when they do the sucking out the blood, when they, embalming, thank you, Jasmine, embalming. When they did the embalming, and this isn't, listen, Willy Wonka and YouTube, this isn't a fact check moment. There's no fact check about actual morticians and actual people who work in the funeral business who are doing the embalming, seeing these big, fleshy, almost scaly looking, kind of like rubber band looking things in people's arteries. Now, I don't want to scare you because we have the videos, and I've already talked to people who were working in the business, and we found out that these are fact. But I personally am going to take it a little further. I don't think those are blood clots. I think they're worms. And that's why at the beginning, they didn't want anyone taking ivermectin. Because you say to yourself, oh my God, why would they ban ivermectin at the beginning of the fake, pandemic, right? Remember they were banning it, and you say to yourself, does that make sense? What does that have to do with having a cold or having a lung issue? Did it make sense? Oh, yes, it did. You know why? Because it was parasites, y'all. They were worms. The vril. The vril, y'all. They were putting worms. So basically they were putting eggs in people. Little squigglers, right? That's why the thing looked like a squiggler. It was a worm. It was a parasite, okay? So they put a parasite up in that joint, and the worm grows. It takes a while, and it's up into everybody's arteries. That's why people are dropping dead, having all kinds of cardiac arrests, crazy healthy athletes, young children. Why would that happen? Because it was literally this is allegedly, I'm not a doctor. Let me say this because they like to take my videos down. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nurse. This is alleged. This is for entertainment purposes only. Okay. They were basically finding these big things in people's arteries. And then you wondered why you're seeing people just dropping dead or having these neurological what looks to be like a seizure is because they're these big looking worms are all up in their arteries, causing a lack of circulation, causing a crazy amount of issues. So if you want to take a look at that video, just look at autopsies on people who took the Cucarachi kill shot. Okay, I can't make this up. Right? I personally think it's the vril. I think that they're seeding. I told you how the arachnid queen that I was in contact with, she said she seeded everybody with a squiggler. So basically it looks like a worm, and the worm grows really big. and basically it it grows to the point where it's blocking things. And we actually witnessed something, and I don't know how true it is because we all watched this video of a little, I wish I could show this. A guy took a picture, no, a video of a worm. It looked like a worm, but it was standing up. It looked like, and it had a mouth almost like a parasite. You ever see parasites in the water? You ever see the carp fish? Anybody see carp fish? Their teeth are like bent in like this, a whole bunch of teeth like that. And it had carp teeth, and it was like a worm. It was standing up like this, and it had like a little wire tail. Now, remember myself and Barry Littleton did videos years ago. Many of you know we did videos years ago. So this is something that we talked about many years ago about the blue light on the phone and the dissemination of nanites, or what you call fibers, nanofibers coming from the chemtrails and embedding themselves. Some call them Mogellans. It's only called Mogellans when the fibers aren't taking to the body and it kind of comes out of your skin a little bit, right? So we talked about that, and I talked about the nanotubes. I think many of you have seen a video many years ago. I hate to reiterate this, but these are things that I've talked about with Barry. We talked about this years ago, that the nanotubes grow with your cell phone. So your cell phone is basically one of the tools, the laboratory tools that is utilized to help to allow for these nanotubes to self-replicate and to grow. Okay, so the cell phones were purposefully given. That's why when you go to the hood now, like I can go anywhere in South America and see cell phones. Like before I went to Brazil, like Venom. Remember before I go to Brazil, nobody had phones. Like poor people didn't have phones. Hey, Jose. Yes, the high blood pressure in children. Thank you, Jose, for mentioning that. They're making it normalized. They're commercializing it, making it seem like everything's normal. So, now your cell phone is being used as a tool. Now, I found something out, and this was dastardly. God, I have so much to talk to you about. It's been such a minute. I'm talking really fast. If I'm talking too fast, please, everyone, let me know if I'm talking too fast for you, because I have so much to say. And I've been off for a while, and there's so much that's in this brain of mine, okay? So, the nanotubes grow. And the problem is that when myself and Barry did the video years ago, we were talking about the fact that the phones were emitting this blue field, but that wasn't true. It was, and it was needed to replicate these nanites that are in you that need a specific, it's like working in a laboratory and you're working with like, remember I worked in the lab for a long time. So like I'm working in a laboratory and I want something in a petri dish and I'm going to introduce a certain kind of fungi, and I will put a certain light on the fungus and I'll put it in a certain kind of environment with a certain pH to see how fast it can spread. And now, if you remember the story of what happened, there's a documentary on this. I can't go fully into it. At Chernobyl. Chernobyl is the nuclear facility that blew up. Remember, tons of radiation was leaked into the environment. And this nuclear facility, after it had blown up, after many years after Chernobyl had occurred, was growing this black fungus. Remember that? It was a black fungi, and it was growing and replicating at a high amount of high rate. And then they found out that the black fungus was actually eating the radiation. It needed that radiation to replicate itself. Listen to what I said, family. Listen to what I said. The black fungus, in order to replicate, needed the radiation. Your phone emits radiation. The 40,000 satellites they put up in 2020, around 2019, all of these triangulating 5G towers that are purposefully and personally put in neighborhoods, especially when we were locked up in our house, when we were so-called in lockdown, and all this fiber optics that is being used to make so-called your cell phones work faster, which is BS. Because if you work in a country like myself, I'm in Colombia, I'm on 2G. Do you see that I have any issues with the Wi-Fi? Absolutely not. So why does having 5G do anything more and make your phone faster? That is the lie. Okay, that was the purposeful lie to make the average sheeple believe that they needed to have this heightened amount of technology to be able to utilize the things for their, for school or work or what have you. And it's interesting that they started to give children in school free laptops. So when did Willy Wonka decide to give children free? When I'm Generation X, did they give us free technology to bring home, y'all? I'm just asking for a friend. Did you ever see your schools, unless you went to a private school where your parents were paying college tuition? That's a little different. Did you ever have them? Okay. Yes, it looked like a little dinosaur, Ricky. You know that. But did they let us bring home computers and stuff like that? Did they give us free computers? Why are they giving middle schoolers and schoolers and making it so they don't even use paper anymore? They can only do their work on computers. Don't you think that's odd? They didn't give us anything for free, right? They made us work in school and we had to use paper and books. What have you seen a child in school now using paper and books? They make them on the computer all the time. After they put all these requirements on these children to get cucarachi shotted up so that they can now be irradiated, having nanotubes growing like worms, like big vril worms inside of them. And then you're going to put all this advertisement making it seem like having heart attacks is normal for children, having strokes is normal for children, oh, cardiac arrest is normal, putting cardiac arrest machines on on playgrounds, making it seem like that's normal. Oh, prisoners have laptops now, Cubby? This is what I'm saying, y'all. Be glad you're homeschooling. My children are being homeschooled. I'm grateful for it. So they aren't being disseminated with the cucarachi kill shot shedders, along with the technology that they purposefully placed in all these schools. Okay? So, okay, I'm digressing. I'm going too far, I know. If you weren't paranoid before you got on here, unfortunately, I don't know that I can stop it, okay? So that happened. So now you have all of this technology that is being utilized with the blue field. Now, remember, I think many of you were on the last live with me when I told you that all of your contacts, now you know I wear contacts, right? Everyone knows that I wear contacts. I've been wearing contacts for years. And when I started wearing contacts is when they instituted these blue tinted contacts. Now at the time, my eye doctor said, oh, these are new, they're being given so that if you drop them on the floor, you can easily see them. That is a blatant lie. They didn't want you to see better or to have your contacts so you can see them better. This is my concept. This is my perception, my reality of what I know. The blue tint and everything that now you used to have to pay to get the blue tint on your glasses, now they happily give it to you for free. It helps to progenerate and the field of you not seeing what's going to happen on the outside too, because there's a lot of things that happen with the event, especially with the pole shift, okay? But that blue field on the eyes also deters you from being able to see properly out in the field of this hologram, because there are things that are going to show up that you're not going to be able to see. That's why they put blue on everything. And also to have the blue also helps to progenerate and help these nanites grow. It's almost like it needs a certain field or to have that certain color for it to be able to replicate itself. It's amazing to me that they put this blue all over. So I went to my eye doctor and I said, hey, doc, give me the clear contacts. He said, what? I said, I want the clear contacts. I don't want the contacts with the blue over it. Give me the clear ones. Oh, no. Well, you know, it's very hard. Listen to the BS that they tell you, y'all. Color is a frequency, exact. Look into the BS that he told me. Oh, I can't give you, you know, it's very hard to get those. I said, why? I said, I want to get the clear ones. I don't want, oh, but I'm going to have to change your prescription because they don't really make it. It's going to be harder. I said, I want to get that. So get it to me. However, ever I got to get it, give it. Do you know this man, first of all, my eyesight got better. Big up to myself for doing things that brought, and also we heard that a lot of people's eyesight is getting better. That's another conversation. We'll discuss that again tonight on Zoom, because that's something else that's happening. I think Em brought it up, and a lot of people's eyesight is getting better. I don't know if it has to do with what's happening or something else. But this is crazy that now that when you go and get your glasses, Go and see, oh, your blue on your glasses is free now. You're not even paying extra anymore. Why do they want this blue? And why did they sell us, the so-called conscious people? Because you know the conscious community is all infiltrated. Let me explain something. The whole conscious community, the whole love and light community is a psyop. They purposefully created it so that they could catch all the conscious people and delineate and deviate you from the path of truth. Okay, they purposefully did that. So from the giddy up, we were already incepted from the giddy up. Now I'm not talking about the lecture sects from some of us who lived in towns where we had really wonderful master teachers that were literally doing it, you know, when we were places, but they basically co-opted our communities. So you'll see all these people with thousands of subscribers, anytime you see someone with over 100,000 subscribers and they call themselves a truth speaker or they call themselves someone, a whistleblower, I will call BS on them. Whether they know that they're a PSYOP agent or not, or they're disseminating information that is basically progenerating and running the entire agenda of Willy Wonka, whether they know it or not. Sometimes an agent doesn't have to be in the know. Sometimes they just have to be in the action. Okay, let's get it. So all the blue that they told us to put over the phone, that I told everyone to put the screen over the phone, that is purposefully to be done so you can replicate these nasty nanites. That is BS. So I told them I want clear contacts. I had to pay more money to get clear contacts. I had to pay more money to make sure I didn't have blue on my phone, something that they were saying that was an extra back in the days. Do you see how they work us? So the blue is BS, okay? And they're putting all this blue out there to make you go with this blue. You'll notice that there's a lot of people out here, like this guy who's called Blue. Like you'll notice that whenever the Matrix wants to, or AI wants you to be an algorithm, they can socially engineer you by making things very popular. So you don't even know that your subconscious is being worked on, because you're constantly getting bombarded with social engineering propaganda all on their social media to constantly make that something into your repertoire. Just like there are things they want you to stay away from, so they pervert it so you'll stay away from. Remember the rainbow? Now, many of you of a certain age, many of you are a certain age, and some of us are girls, okay? Some of you are girls, right? And you like to wear rainbows. I remember having Rainbow Bright. Remember the ponies? Who was it? The Rainbow Bright, Rainbow, who else was it? Like rainbow sweaters we used to wear. Remember we used to wear rainbow socks. Remember all the little girls were always wearing rainbows? That was big when we were growing. Care Bears, Star Bright. Let's get it. Rainbow Connection. Let's get it. Let's get it. All the rainbows. My Little Pony. Remember we loved the rainbow? That was something that was basically little girls wore, okay? Why is it that they have a whole community? No shade but shade. Why did you take the rainbow? Because you know when I had the rainbow event, we were talking about Punky Brewster. I love Punky Brewster. Reading Rainbow, remember that? I'm not going to get onto that, but remember the days when it was only girls wearing rainbows? We wore rainbow panties, t-shirts, little hats. We wore rainbow dolls. Why is the whole rainbow have been co-opted by the LBGQRSTUVWXYZ community? Why did they co-opt it? Because you remember when I had the rainbow event happen, I knew then that it was purposefully being taken and co-opted so that you wouldn't touch it. It would be perverted. Now you say to yourself, well, are you saying that gay people are perverted? I didn't say that. I said that why would you take a rainbow that is associated with females and now associated with mostly gay males? Do you see what I'm saying? You don't see something wrong with that? And now when a little girl wants to wear a rainbow, she doesn't feel like she can unless she associates herself with either being bisexual or being homosexual. She can only wear that now. Even when my little girls, I love rainbows. Even when my little girls saw me pick up a shirt, they said, well, mommy, you know, they're gonna think that you're gay if you wear that. And I said, what? Yes, mommy, they're going to think that you're gay. They're going to think that you're represented in that community if you wear that. Why would they co-opt an entire genre that was connected to little girls and basically take it on and take on a whole genre of a whole community? So now that during the rainbow event, we're going to get into that pre-pole shift with the whole ascension process. Why would they do that? Because they knew they wanted to pervert something to put it outside of your stratosphere of acceptance, because when you're in a certain mindscape, when you're in a certain vibration, when you're in a certain frequency, that rainbow is really it's a progenitive of that higher field. When we leave this firmament, we go over a rainbow bridge. That's why the rainbow event happened. So they co-opted it and perverted it, associated it with a whole group of people that are absolutely not connected to the original source of the rainbow. Okay? That's all I'm saying. No shade to anybody who's gay, but you know I'm right. Little boys, other people weren't wearing the rainbows. That was little girls. That was something positive to us as children. It wasn't associated with sexuality. It was associated with a feeling, a genre, a connection to everything. Okay? Like chakra colors. And the chakra colors are inverted. Okay, so let's go a little further. Am I boring you yet? Should I keep going? Because I could go further. I don't know if I'm going to because you know I get excited when I start getting into the to my awareness. And for those who don't know, I'm in Colombia. I had left the country because I was tired of Willy Wonka and his League of Doom, and they did try to kidnap us before we left the country. So I had to leave the country for a little bit. All right. I'm going to keep going, okay? They may take the video down. You know how they get down. So do know this, upload it, put it somewhere. I can't help you. They've been taking my videos down. They took videos down from a while ago. So when I keep truth, like I said, I haven't been handled. I haven't any handlers around me. I'm not paid by Willy Wonka and his League of Doom. I'm not under the handle of the United Fakes or any other country. I have zero allegiance except to myself and my family and those in the same vibration. Do you understand? So I'm not being paid by anyone to come on here. There's nothing I come on here other to share and illuminate so that some of y'all can get the heck out of Dodge as well. Okay, let's keep it going. So, now we have the reset. They basically injected everybody with the vril. Okay, the vril that was inside of people. Remember, people's eyes were being black because it hijacks the cerebral cortex and hijacks the brain. And if you want to get an idea of this, just to let you know, just give you a reference, because I know some people on here are new and they're not sure, they're not used to the lingo, the language, or even the consciousness. You can Google the zombie snail. Google the zombie snail, or if you want to get an idea of those worms, take a look. It's called the string worms that come out of the cricket. Like they'll put a cricket, submerge the cricket in the water, and out of its butt comes like the stringing type of worm. And when that worm infects, it comes as a little dot. It comes in as an egg, and it's inserted inside of the cricket. When it's inserted inside the cricket, it starts to grow. It hijacks the brain of the cricket or of the locust, and it makes it go into an arena where it can be into water. The hairworm. Thank you, Cubby. The hairworm. Okay, so you can check it out. I don't want to, that's something. Don't do it in front of your children. I don't think it's healthy unless your children are a certain age where this awareness is appropriate to their age range. I'm very funny with little ones. I want to protect their consciousness, their peace. We're its parents, uncles, abuelas. We're supposed to be careful with that, okay? The vril are worms, okay? That's how they insert people. Hey, Dana Voodoo. So, that being said, just take a look at those videos so you can get an idea of the parasite zombie worm, the zombie snail, and the zombie. So you'll see how people who've gotten the Cucaracha kill shot are also being ran by AI program. They not only are they connected by the Starlink, who supposedly, what's his name, said is coming down. That's BS. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. Okay, and also your moon and your sun. We found out that it's a hole. It's the hole inside the firmament that things come in and out, okay? Elon Musk said he was going to get rid of the Starlink. That's a lie. That is my belief, okay? Doesn't mean it's true. That's what I know to be, okay? So, you know, the so-called hole, which we call the sun simulator, isn't a sun. It isn't a fixture. It isn't a sphere. It isn't a planetoid. It is a hole in the top of the roof of our firmament that they look down and send things down into here, okay? That's why the moon and the sun are the same size, because basically it's the same kind. One is a hole for coming in. I think one is the exit, one is the entrance, what have you. That's just my total concept of what's going on. The sky is fake. Your Willy Wonkas are fake. The people around you, you don't even know. Most of them are holographic people. They don't even exist. They loop around all the time. That's why they constantly do the same thing over and over again, okay? You're living now with robotoids. Now we have basically, you know, I was watching Pippi Longstockings. I don't know. That shares my age, but I was watching Pippi Longstockings again. I was like, oh snap, she's a super soldier. They got super soldiers, all those people they sent over here coming over from Ukraine. Half these people are probably Satanists, because remember what was going on over there was Satanism, okay? They had tons of laboratories underneath the ground that Putin was talking about. They had all these kind of hybrid super soldier laboratories, and all those people who came on those planes that were coming over here were getting $6,000 a month to live while you struggle, and they're getting their rent paid, they're getting education stimulus, they're getting food stamps. We heard one of the Sea Stars came on and said somebody who just came off of these planes was getting $21,000 on her food stamps. They've never, was it $21,000, y'all? What was it again? Susu, what was it? Was it 20? I forgot the amount. What was it, like $21,000 on their food stamps card? Or was it 20? Yeah, it was $21,000, right? Wasn't it? Allegedly. Okay. So while you, $24,000, Cubby said, okay, it was $24,000. So they coming over here, all these billions and billions of dollars, and you go into Philly on the dark road and you see people bent over like the Exorcist on a Sunday, and you have people who are struggling, can't even support their families. Food is hiked up to an egregious amount. Parents can't afford to buy their children organic food, but you're sending people over here from another country. And you know why? It's because those people are Satanists. Remember, look at the president over in Ukraine. He was wearing He was wearing leather pants in a sadomasochistic video. You think that man is a religious man upholding himself to highest ethical moral standards? That man is a Satanist, and that's why when they went over there, because the country was being infiltrated by Putin, they basically were taking everything out and bringing everything over here. So everything they had over there that they were hiding and stockpiling in their dark programs, their eugenics programs, their hybrid programs, their super soldier programs, they're bringing all those Satanists over here. That's why all the children are being kidnapped at the heightened degree, because these people are hangry, because they want their adrenochrome and they want it now. They're going to take this video down. That's why I don't come on here. I already know. Can someone save this video for me? Because I know they're going to take it down. They're going to take the video down, y'all. I already know. I've gone too far. $24,000 in food stamps, y'all. We got the proof. I'm not making it up. You can't tell me what it is. They have literally, somebody was working at the grocery store and they looked at the receipt of someone who just got here off of one of those planes that they brought over here. And if you're upset about the baby formula that your children didn't get, guess what? They were sending the baby formula down there for those underground babies that they had in those underground bunkers where they were experimenting. So all your baby formula was going over there. And then after they disseminated all the baby formula to Ukraine, they basically were putting a whole stockpile of Satanists on those planes, bringing those people over here illegally, and then giving them voting cards because I didn't know that you could vote as an illegal alien. I'm gone too far. I'm out of control. Sometimes I'm out of control. And you ever know when you say too much and you just, when you've gone too far? You've gone too far, right? Okay. Let me take a deep breath. So while they're giving billions of dollars where there's no accountability, because you know that the Ukrainians said that the military said that they didn't see a dime of that money. They said the United States told us that all of your hard-earned tax illegal, because you know taxes are illegal, right? Do you know that them charging us taxes is illegal and it is against the law for us to pay taxes, because that was one of the conditions that the founding fathers had when they came here, the founding you know, colonizers, whatever they were. But they did say it's illegal, right? So I'm just saying all of the taxes that you pay for hard, where you can barely buy a dozen organic soy-free eggs for $7.95 in Sprouts, you basically have people coming in here getting a card, getting their rent paid, having school allotment, getting free clothes, and some of them have a card with food, I guess it's welfare food, for $24,000. You wouldn't trust these people? I just, I have no loyalty to anybody. I don't have loyalty to any of these Satanists because they're sick. Okay? So anyway, so we have that going on. Then you had Queen Lizzie the Lizard pass away, transition. Let me say I'm sorry to hear that Lizzie the Lizard has transitioned, but I will tell you, I personally, it is my opinion. I'm allowed to have the opinion. This is my part of, well, the Constitution no longer works, so I can't even rely on that, right? There is Queen Lizzie. I personally think that she crawled the vril that came out of her body, because nobody died. And first of all, if they said she died now, she probably died like a month ago or a year ago. I don't believe them, okay? Because usually when something like that happens, one of the royals, that they're part of the lineage of the worm people, the insectoids. They basically have worms put in them from birth, and they're injected with the consciousness of those aliens inside of them. So they're not even humanoids, okay? And Queen Lizzie the Lizard is now probably injected in one of the grandchildren called Elizabeth or Charlotte. What's her name? Charlotte. It's my opinion. I could be wrong. Okay, so these are not humanoids, y'all. We talked about this. If you come to the channel thinking we talk about humans 90% of the time, these are parasitic aliens that are parasites running in this hologram. It's like, when you have like a virus in a program, these are the viruses in the program. They're sociopathic psychopaths because they're embedded with these parasitic worms that are like either worms of a spider or arachnids, or the worms that turn into like the vril, like they hijack the brain, they take over the whole body. It's, when they say, when you the sunken place. Okay. All right, so let's go into the pole shift and what's happening. The dissemination, there's a couple events that are going to happen. I don't even know if you have an election. The election is all. You know how I feel now. I don't really have any faith in a rigged system. The whole system is rigged. There isn't anything real. There isn't anything real. The hologram is a hologram. You basically create it with your mindscape. But unfortunately, because many people watch CNN, NBC, ABC, and they basically are watching the projection, and they're basically taking it in as truth, and they're disseminating that out into and manifesting that out into reality. Okay? So nothing's real. You could create your own world. I mean, this isn't all negative. I mean, the great part about this is that you can co-create your own reality. The problem is that you're being bombarded with social media frequencies that are basically bombarding your brain, and people that are shedding from taking the Kukarachi kill shot, walking around basically shedding the spikes or the worms on them. So you constantly have to watch yourself for parasites, because these things are shedding, and these people are walking pieces of technology that are emitting these frequencies as they walk by you. They're walking by emitting frequencies. So if you want to get a better idea, I always have movie movie recommendations is to watch a classic movie. Many of you may have not watched it. There's two that kind of relate to that frequency bombarding the brainscape is definitely watch. Well, They Live is, you know, definitely that. Body Snatchers, yeah. But Pontypool is one. Pontypool is a classic. It's one of those old classics that many people don't talk about because it's really relative, and also The Cell. So you have Body Snatchers, The Cell, Pontypool, They Live is like the autobiography of whatever we're going through now, okay? And that will let you know what happens with frequencies. When frequencies are basically being emitted, if you have a receptor in your body, like a shot that has a Bluetooth or a chip in it, that basically can take that register that frequency and cause, they have they have transmitters that can stop your heart. They can basically give you seizures, as what you see out here. So that's why I say to you, just if you're around people, you got to be around people that are shotted up, shotted up with vitamin C. Okay. I would definitely do a detox. You should be, if you're out in the world daily, you should be detoxing daily. That's all I'm saying. And if you're being bombarded with frequencies, like many of you get headaches and you don't know where they're coming from. You ever get a headache here? Have you been getting the headaches here? Anybody here? Put a 1 if you get the headaches here. Are you getting the headaches that come out of the blue? They make no sense right here. It's like coming in your temples. If you get those headaches, put a 1 in the chat. Let's see how many people are getting them. Like out of the blue, out of the blue. Just no reason, no, you're not dehydrated, nothing. Who's getting those headaches, okay? Look. You know why you're getting the headaches? Because that's frequencies that are messing with you, and they're basically messing with this here. For some reason, they mess people with your temple here. And they're not coming from the back, they're coming from up here. That's from the frequencies, okay? So my suggestion to you, for any of you who are artisans, look at this. I'm sorry to hear this. For many of you who are getting those headaches, you got to start covering your dome. This is your dome. Remember back in the days, the hip hop term was dome. Look at this. I'm sorry to hear this, y'all. Look at this. Everyone's getting these headaches in the frontal temple, and you don't know where they're coming from because it makes no sense to you. You didn't get them before, but you're getting them because they're constantly being bombarded with these frequencies. You got to cover your dome, and you need to make yourself some shungite hats, or you need to make yourself like a Fahrenheit hat to put on. And I don't even trust the silver hats that they're selling because these bastards have infiltrated everything. So I would cover your head with like either, I'm a fan of bamboo. Remember I had that experience with the bamboo guy. I would put a bamboo cap on your head. And you know what's crazy about that? I'm going to tell you something that's crazy about that. When I was looking at the bamboo caps, you know who they tell them to wear those bamboo hats? You know what's crazy about these bastards? They've infiltrated everything. So what you think when people be like, oh, come to my channel, buy 50 million items. All these channels that are telling you, oh, we're telling you the truth. And then they'll tell you to buy all their products and so on. No, y'all, they're not going to tell you the real products because it's been psyoped. We thought that the silver was going to help us, or the silver cloth. That's BS. I found this BS is more metal. Metal attracts radiation. Metal attracts radiation. So you got to wear things like these little rubber things that I had to get these frequency. What is this one? Let me take it off. I forgot the name. I got to put them on the phone. I'll show you some of them. Hold on. You got to get it from from these places, these frequency things that help. I mean, you can't wear any metal on you because metal attracts radiation. There was this doctor, big up to Anna and Tamira from my group, who told me, can you see it? Oh, thank you. Thank you for the donation. You need to undefined. Can you see it? I don't know if you can see it. Can you see it? Okay, I think you can see it. Can you see it? These are like these bracelets. I don't know if you can see it. There you go. There you go. Okay, can you see it? All right. There's these bracelets you got to get to. This one too. This is the other one. It's like, this is how bad it is. I get these. Where did I get this from? I forgot the name. You got to get these little bracelets that kind of keep your EMP harmony. Exactly. You got to keep them. EMP harmonic thing. You got to keep the bands on you, because what it does is it helps to protect the field around you. You got to take off all metals. Any metal, copper, any metal attracts radiation. If you want to know If you want to know what metal does with radiation, go put, now let me put the forewarning on here. I am not telling you to do this. I'm asking you, what happens when you put a fork in a microwave? What happens when you put a fork in a microwave? What happens? Even we had people wearing gold getting radiated. It doesn't matter. It's all metals. It's attracting the radiation. It blows up. All metals, all metals. It's crazy. Listen, I don't want to tell you this because I like gold. I like copper because copper is a wonderful catalyst. But remember, copper is a catalyst. Any metal that you wear will attract it. So if you're wearing metal glasses, we got our homegirl on here. She was wearing metal frames. Her headache was coming. We found out that it's triangulating because she had metal frames. It conducts electricity. Thank you, AJ. All metals will cause, every metal, and I love gold because gold is the highest form of energy. But remember, we're not talking about what it is energetically to you. We know that gold is a high vibration. Yes. We know that copper is a catalyst. Yes. But when you put radiation with it, it's going to do the same thing. So it basically, any metals you have on you with the tons of radiation around you is going to pull radiation to you. How many of you are losing your hair? Remember this whole concept of Jada Pinkett Smith, and then you got this crazy, she looks like an alien. I don't even know this. Doja Cat shaving off her whole eyebrow. She was paid for, you think they're doing that for fun? She was paid the bag for that, y'all. Don't believe the hype. Okay? Shout out to Delbert Blair. That's right, terrific. Thank you for bringing up the master. He was the one. I got to give props to him. My consciousness wouldn't have been what it was. Okay? So Doja Cat shaved off her head. You had all these celebrities shaving off their head. You're seeing all these people online shaving off your head. What do they do to you when they do when they do radiation on you? What's the first thing that happens to you? You tell me. Maybe I'm an idiot. Maybe I'm not smart. Maybe tell me what happens when someone gets radiated. Okay. All of them putting their heads, they shave all their hair off. What happens when you shave your hair off? What did they do with Native Americans? The first thing they get Native Americans, brown, Latin, Native American, Asian. What did they do? They shave off their hair. What did they do in Auschwitz when the Jewish people were taken into the concentration camp? They shaved off their hair. If you shave off your hair right now, you are more connected to radiation. Hyssop, oh wait, thank you, my love. Natural Anu Queen. Hyssop herb kills parasites, lifts your vibration, is cheap, it's from the, I agree with you. I love hyssop and it's great for circulation. Thank you for bringing that up. As a dancer, I love hyssop. Yes. I'm just saying, they're getting people used to, I know many people whose hair is falling out right now. Look at all your people on YouTube. Their hair, when I came to United Fakes, I told you my hair, as soon as I came from Brazil, my hair, you know, because I keep my hair up now in a bun because it's easier because I'm up here and I'm in here. Hey, Melody, High Priestess, thank you, my love. I'm here in Colombia, so I keep my hair in a beautiful bun. I love doing buns, but the first thing they do is they shave your hair off, and that's how they also, before they also take you to go to the death chamber, before they electrocute you, they make you shave your head off. So all of this shaving head off and also projecting and propagating shaved heads is literally getting you used to that look because there's so much radiation. People's hair is falling out. People's hair is falling out in the droves. When I came back from Brazil, I told you, I think many of you, maybe I told you on Zoom, right? Oh, slaves, they shaved slaves' hair. Oh, thank you, Michaela. They said they shaved hair off too. So what was interesting is that they'll put all this shaved head. Oh no, I'll tell you the story. So I came back from Brazil, and you know, I had my hair done in Brazil before I came. It was beautiful. So I was down. And then I knew, because I was coming on the airplane and I was coming to the States, that there's going to be a lot of radiation. So I put a cap on. I put my Shungai cap on. Was it my Shungai cap? I think I put my Shungai. Maybe I didn't put my Shungai cap on. I put something. No, I put my Shungai cap on. So No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I put my other cap on that I normally wear. So I put my cap on, right? I put it on and I got off the plane. So I got off of Miami. Remember, I got off of Miami. And as soon as I took my hair out, my hair felt, do you ever blow dry your hair? My hair felt like someone had blow dried my hair to the point where it was like dry and brittle. I just got on an airplane and just got off of Miami. I was like, what? What is this? So this is the fact that I knew that there was so much radiation that literally it just within that short period of time of being on the plane, it literally affected my hair. So you see me keep my hair up all the time. I bun it. And also, y'all, they would protect their own, because the Zionists, guess what they had their people do? It's crazy how this happens. So what time is it? I gotta go in with Zoom in a minute, y'all. I'm talking so much. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you the setup. Okay, because just like with the veganism was to get your pH high enough so you would be susceptible from infiltration from nanites. Because nanites needed higher pH in your body. It needed the blue field over your phone or your eyes to replicate itself. So I'm gonna tell you the setup with the natural hair movement. This is how dastardly and how methodically these bastards think. This is how far they go. So for a long time, a lot of women just wore their hair, and you had weaves and braids or what have you, right? And wigs. Now remember, I'm gonna bring up this and I'm gonna talk to you about the cultures that actually do this. So that the women who are Hasidic and Orthodoxy Jews, the women wear full-on wigs. Now they don't wear synthetic wigs. They pay I don't know how much wigs cost. How much? I think Melissa said they can cost, do wigs cost like $700, $800? I think they do, right? The hair wigs, am I right? Is that the price? I think it's like $800 or $1,400. Is it? Okay, so it's like $1,000. Okay, thousands. So remember what I'm saying, because I'm going to talk really fast. The Hasidic women and the Orthodoxy women, why do I bring them up? Because I want to bring up that protected group in the Church of Seleucus. Remember, the Church of the Synagogue of Satan is in the group. The Zionists are in that group. So they protect their own. Oh, wow, Beyonce, spending $42,000 on hair. Anyway, oh my God, if I spend like $5, call me cheap. I just buy things that are natural. I just put like olive oil. Anyway, okay. So why do I bring this group up? I want to talk about the natural hair movement and its connection to going opposite to make you susceptible to hair foliage, okay? They have groups that they purposefully, like Islam, the Nation of Islam, the Islamics, the Muslim, and the Judaic women, they all wear things on their hair, right? The Judaic women, especially the Orthodoxy and Hasidic, they wear wigs, human hair wigs, and their hair can look just like the wig. Actually, I know Hasidic women whose hair looks exactly the same as the wig looks exactly the same as the hair she has underneath the wig. Now ask yourself, why does that make sense? Think of the rationality. I'm going to ask you to be very logical in this conversation. Listen to me. Why would a religion require women to cover their hair with hair that looks exactly, what did you say, AAAA? Look at what AAA said. Listen to what they said. It was to protect their hair. The natural hair movement was to take the wigs off of women's hair to make them susceptible to radiation. They knew that when you wore the wigs, this is what's crazy about it, because you say for years, you'd be like, why are you wearing wigs? Then they make sure they disseminate the brown men community to basically talk about brown women's hair and call them hair hats and basically vilify women for wearing weaves. Do you see how they do it? It's like planned opposition. So they know that they want to disseminate a lot of radiation. They know that these women who are of color mostly wear a lot of wigs and weaves. So what they want to do is they want to take them off. So what they do is they create usurp a whole genre around it. And they basically say, well, Why all those years before did they let them wear wigs and weaves? What did it matter? Do they really like brown women? Are really brown women protected? That's BS. Do they really care? No. It had nothing to do with that. It had only to do with usurping something that would protect a demographics that they wanted to be inundated with radiation. So what they did is they vilified this one group of women. Oh, you're wearing weaves, you're wearing hair hats, you're wearing your fake hair. Oh, you hate yourself. And listen, I was there because I was like, why are you wearing hair things to cover your hair when you have such beautiful hair? I think women of color have beautiful hair. I love the coily hair. It is a receptor. It's an antenna. It takes in the energy. But guess what? Guess what? At a time when there's heightened amount of radiation, it doesn't matter. Because that hair does protect your head, but it becomes inundated with radiation. So they know that hair, that beautiful, thick, coarse, curly hair, it protects. That's why I tell my lunar comb girls to braid their hair, because the thicker the hair, the more it protects the brain. So they know they couldn't get you on that, so what they have you do? They had you shave your hair. Let me explain it, y'all. Oh, I'm getting excited. Don't get me excited. Listen, when you see the agenda and you see it, because I have a scientific brain, so I see what happens. They usurp the brown women community because they're wearing weaves and wigs that protect them from radiation. Then they say, well, no, be natural. Then they disseminate the hound dogs, those men who are socially engineerable, and say, oh, I don't want a woman who wears a weave or a hair hat. So you have people like Tommy Sotomayor, you have all of these dudes out here that are purposefully allowed for their platforms to grow so they can vilify women like that. So they can vilify women and bring self-consciousness to it, so then women don't feel happy about themselves wearing wigs anymore. So now you bring this natural hair movement, so then they'll illuminate certain women that are basically dense, and they'll have them wearing natural hair. Now, natural hair is beautiful. I think it's the only way. I think when we're living in the jungle, by all means, we're gonna wear our natural hair. But the problem is, when there's heightened amount of radiation, yes, copper is beautiful, gold is beautiful, but when there's radiation, it's a whole different marker. When you have thick hair, yes, it protects you from radiation. But what happens is that hair constantly gets bombarded. But what they don't want for women of color to do is to have that big fro. So what are they doing? Look on television and see how many women of color have shaved their heads off. Just tell me how many celebrities that you see that are brown women. Remember, lunar women, you have very thin hair. Your hair does not protect you from radiation unless you have thick, coily hair. Only thick, coily hair protects you from radiation. Okay? Oh, Camille Samuels used to demonize women for wearing hair weaves, right? Okay, so only thick hair protects you. That's why I tell everybody, keeping the braids in your hair, keeping your hair kind of like protected at a dome. That's why they had all of these. Why do you think they have them wearing yarmulkes? Even with the Jewish community, what do they have them covering? Even with the Sikhs who wear their hair, they cover their hair around. Yes, please put a like on the video if you're up for the shenanigans today, because I'm in rare form and you only gotta get me here right now, because normally I'm not coming on here and I gotta go on with the zoomies, you know. Yes, love my thick, coarse, long, white. Yeah, just leave it thick. But they're going to try to usurp that. Remember, they'll do certain things. They'll usurp a certain thing by saying, oh, you know, let's have, let's do this. They have all these different angles, or they'll have all these different types of angles to go to where they need you to go. It's like to herd you in a certain direction. They're not going to do it just straight off the bat. They're going to utilize different tools of social engineering to get you to the point where you do it yourself. All of these bastards will make you shave your head off, and they will make it seem acceptable because all of your favorite African, I don't want to use African American because they're just natives, but all of these melanated people that you like and respect and have been watching on television are your idols. So as soon as they shave your head, you gonna shave your head. Okay? So I'm saying it's crazy. Is this like the vegan community? Like all the time we're eating healthy vegetables and so on and so on when it didn't matter. But as soon as they usurp it, they gonna make you eat it when they demonizing it and when they making everything genetically modified. When all the greens and everything was healthy, when it wasn't connected to nanotubes and replicating nanotubes to make worms in you, it didn't matter. They weren't when I was just eating raw, they weren't promoting it. When I was eating raw back in the days, they didn't want people eating like that because it did clear out your system and raise your pH. When they started to promote it is when it benefited them. So anything that's trending, you should go the opposite direction. And this is the first time you're going to hear FleurBrun say, if you can, cover your dome. If you don't have thick hair, do like the Asidi women and do like the women over in Islam and cover your dome. Because right now what they're doing is they're purposefully making women demonizing you for wearing, screw it. You protect yourself because guess what? When you go home and you take that wonderful, whatever you have, that cover, that whatever you have, that wonderful thing off your head, guess who gets to see it? Your love. He gets to see you and all your rear fur. You get to let that fro out. Let him see everything. You know what I'm saying? You could take your hair out, let your hair flow. You let him see that. But all these years that they've been demonizing women for wearing hair hats is because they had an agenda. They wanted you to take it off, go into the natural hair movement. It wasn't for your health. Do you think for a minute it was for your health? No, it was to usurp the one protectant that you had. So as soon as they got you to take off the weave and get your hair all natural, now they're gonna make you shave it. And then worse, they're gonna probably make you turn it blonde. They're gonna make you dye your hair blonde like all of these mind controllable, people that you see. Anybody who's dyed their hair blonde, who's on social media, they are marked. You already know the MK Ultra program is well in effect. And that means that they are for the agenda. They up for the shenanigans. Okay? So perms are popular right now too. That's another form. Listen. And also, oh my God, there's so much. Should I make a part 2 to this? Are y'all okay? Please put some likes on the video if you want me to keep talking. Because they're gonna take the video down if you don't put likes. Put likes if you haven't put likes and you up for the shenanigan. You appreciate what the content I'm bringing. Put a like to let me know that this is the content you want to hear. Because I will keep going and going and going and going and going. Because I haven't come on. And again, I left the country. I'm in Colombia. And let me say big up to all my Colombianas. I love your country. It is beautiful, beautiful people, great food, great ambiance. I'm so grateful to be here with my family. I'm very happy to be back in South America again. Thank you for putting likes on the video. Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay. Should I get into the next one? There's so many, my consciousness has been going so high. I know so much. It's like I got to keep going. All right, let's go. So there's this, oh God, what is it called? There's this new diet, a shot. Does someone know the name? Because I'm going to have to look it up real quick. It's called what's the diet? What's the new diet shot that all the celebrities are taking? Can someone tell me the name? Thank you, Apollonia. Can someone tell me? A lot of blonde hair is so bad. No, if it's natural, just let it be. What's the name of the, does someone know the name of that shot that they're getting? It's a diet shot. And I want to talk about it because it's another use. No, it's not keto. It's a shot. Y'all don't know it? Oh God. So one of you has to know it. Yes, Chloe takes it. One of the dark Kardashian. Oh, there it goes. Thank you, Camille. Camille, can I spot you? How do I add you? Oh, darn it. She just said it. Ozempic. Thank you, my love. Ozempic. Okay. Now listen, y'all. Listen, if they don't get you one way, it's another. Let me explain something. This is my opinion. Say no to the shots. Do you understand? Ozempic. They got people taking Ozempic and literally what's happening now, it is as far as I know, it's a diabetes shot that these people are taking. But I'm telling you, It is another form. Like if they didn't get you with the Kukarachi shot, they're going to get you with the Ozempic. Okay? It's shooting people's adrenaline. It's messing with your thyroid. Now, we're not going to go into the marine family and your connection to the mermaid world, to the water world, and the demonization, making sure that this is the one thing that you're going to need, your thyroid being maintained properly, because that helps you, your gills. These are your gills, okay? So it messes with your thyroid, it messes with your adrenals. It shoots out your adrenals. And it also can cause cancer, okay? There are people taking it and they're basically, okay, so you're taking Ozempic. Please, for anyone, it is another usurp into getting a shot in you. You should know the hokey doke. You know what I mean? If you do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around, that's what it's all about. Hokey pokey. Okay? They want to poke you. And they're going to get you to get it poked anyway. What better ways so you could be nice and thin? You could get your butt popped out. Thank you, AJ. Oh. Boom, boom, boom. So you can see, so you can get your corpse-like body. Okay? The only way we're going to shed weight, and listen, being thick right now is also a protected. Listen, everything that they're trying to do to you is make you susceptible to being shed off, to being purged. Okay? The skinnier you are, it's easier to incept you with radiation. The thicker your hair is, the harder it is for them to incept you with radiation. The things they want to destroy about you are the things that protect you. Ozempic is a new weight loss thing. People are losing weight, but they're also getting some weird thyroid issues. They're basically shooting out their adrenalines. It causes cancer. Like, the side effects are off the chain. Listen, we can look good after we leave the firmament. All you got to do is just be positive, eat your own food that you grow, make love, work out in a proper way, and you're going to be all right. Stop looking for shortcuts, because that's part of the trap. It's entrapment. They want to make sure they entrap you. That's what they want to do. They want everyone to get the sleeve. They want you to get the bariatric surgery. They don't want you to have that thick. Wish I did. That jiggle while you wiggle, jiggle well. I'm crazy. They want to get you. What, do you want to do the hokey pokey? No. Say no. Listen, do you. If you thick and you healthy, I'm not talking like if you eating donuts, if you're eating 5 burgers, if you're drinking soda, absolutely not. That's not healthy. Do you understand? I'm not talking about those kind of thick. I'm talking about the women that eat well, they're healthy, they're eating organic, they're doing things like that, and they're still thick. Thickness is going to protect you, because remember, layers of fat deter you from being radiated. Okay? That's why they want you waist thin. What happens? I remember this woman years ago, and I'm not talking about you beautiful, slender ladies and gentlemen. There's nothing wrong with you being naturally slender. I think you're beautiful the way you are. However you were intended, you're beautiful. So let me just say this to you. I don't want to demonize anyone because I'm a thicker girl, but I do appreciate people who are naturally slender. If you're naturally slender and that's just how you're built, you're beautiful. Okay? That's the way God is intended for you to be. That's the way your genetics are. So I'm not saying anything about that. What I'm saying is that they want everyone to be waif, corpse thin, so you can be properly radiated. I remember this lady was telling me when I was first getting married. I think it was before we got married. Oh, no, it was right before we got married. We were in Riverdale. This is in New York. Maybe you know Riverdale. Big up to my New Yorkers in the house. And you tend to get bulk. When people get radiated, they tend to bulk up. You ever notice that when people are getting chemotherapy, they get bulky? It's because it's a protectant. It's your body's way of protecting you. Okay? So this lady, we picked her up in Riverdale because I was coming from the dentist with my ex at the time, just before we were getting married, right before we got married. And I always asked everybody, what's your advice to a new married couple? And how do you think we can keep healthy? Now, she told us, being married, always don't go to sleep angry. It's, the common thing, like don't go to sleep mad at your mate, always being very communicative, always tell each other and speak and communicate. That was one of the things for the marriage. But one of the things she said for health was keep some extra steerage. Listen to what she said. She said keep some extra steerage. Yes, because that helps to protect you from radiation, because the blubber blubber. I need to make a rap song. Blubber helps to absorb radiation. It keeps your organs safe. That's when people get chemo, they tend to get a little blubbery, a little chunky usually. Okay, so I'm just saying, if you're gonna do all that sleeves and stuff, it's all an agenda. They want you to shave your head. They want you to look like Doja Cat. Doja Cat looks like a sicko. Do you see Doja Cat? She shaved off her eyebrows and her hair. She looked like an alien. You know she likes, maybe she's really alien. You think but she hated her hair anyway, right? Blubber is plasma. That's right, it's a lot of plasma. Interesting. All right, hold on, let me take a drink of water. You have a crush on Doja Cat? She's not a bad looking woman. No. But she is another species. Well, she's not very bright. So I don't think she's another species. She looks like another species. She isn't bright enough to be another species. No shade but shade. You know, if you are general consensus is if someone's a true hybrid, especially in this realm, generally there's a certain amount of like, it's an intelligence. And whether it's not always an intellect like intelligence, like a book intelligence. It's a kind of mindset that makes them a little higher in minds, like higher minded. She's not that, like she doesn't have that. So it makes me think that she's not really a hybrid because she's not very bright. You know what I mean? She's very, or she could be she could be some sort of clone, you know, some sort of hybrid clone of some sort. You know what I mean? I don't know for a fact. I don't really pay attention to her. I haven't really dived too deep into her. Kanye. Kanye West. First of all, you know, I know some of you minded he made a t-shirt with Candace Owens, which was basically, I didn't know, big up to Alicia, our political analyst. I really didn't think too much about it. But Alicia, who is a political analyst from Zoom, big up to Alicia. You should definitely catch her podcast. Literally, what I heard is that they were trolling because Candace Owens was going to make a video about Black Lives Matter. Do you know that, right? So I didn't know that Candace Owens had a documentary coming out. Was it a documentary? I think it was a documentary about Black Lives Matter and busting the two lesbian women who were living high and fat off the horse, off the money of brown men being murdered and making a mockery of it. That was a trolling thing, you know, when he wore the White Lives Matter. And my thing is, if you mad at Black Lives Matter, why are you mad at White Lives Matter too? It was just too much going on. It's like, you mad at that because we know it was a usurp. It was created by Soros, okay? But then, you know, he wore the t-shirt. You know how he gets down though. He likes to rattle your feathers. And I didn't know, like, I got to give Alicia all the credit for this. She said he was basically trolling with her because Candace Owens was making a documentary about Black Lives Matter being basically a psyop created, and it funded the Democratic Party, which your false president, your holographic president, Kazoo. And he used all that money, got a lot of money for him. And it was literally, I didn't know it was created by brown men originally, but it was basically taken over by lesbian women who didn't have a care about the brown men that were being subjected to homicidal maniacs trying to kill them. So the whole thing was usurped. Okay, so it was some sort of like psyop. So with him, he was trolling. So I can't really speak on that. He was trolling. I think what's happening with Kanye West is that he keeps trying to be a party to demons. Like he wants to be renowned. He wants to be respected. He wants to be held at a high esteem with a bunch of Satanists. And they ain't unless you a Satanist, they ain't never gonna give you that many props. You know what I mean? So I think he needs to stop trying to lick their bootstraps and just keep it moving. And why are you creating things that other people own? Create things yourself. He's got a masterful mind. The way his mind thinks is brilliant. There's no and ifs or buts about his brilliancy. But the fact is, when you see someone so desperate to be liked or to try to gain the esteem in a satanic world, then yeah, I could, that being a clone, I don't know what's going on. Okay, he's got his beard showing, but first of all, I think the beard is a good sign that he's somewhat conscious, because growing the beard to me lets me know that he knows that radiation is an issue. Okay, I don't really get too big into him because his mind is kind of like a savant. No shade, but when you get into somebody who has like a genius, his mom, Donda, and he was very special. He's special in a lot of ways, but he acts like a savant. It's like no rhyme or reason. The way he thinks is a little different from the collective. He thinks outside the box. So the things he does is really sometimes you don't know where it's coming from. So with him, he must know that he married the whole of hoes. Okay, when you marry an insectoid witch queen, and someone whose reputation was only revered from her opening up her dark legs of mass destruction, and that is her only claim to fame, and the pheromones she's distributing all over males to make them go insane. I mean, you already know that he can't be right in his head for having slept with her for so long. She had to put some of her pheromones into his system for the way that he's acting. The fact that he created children with this dark queen is also concerning, that he is even upset of the behavior of a woman whose mother pimped her out sexually and watched her daughter having sex. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I can't give him any, extensions of olive branches, because the things that he chose to do literally have made he's made his life what it is. You aren't going to gain the respect when you're doing exactly the same thing in a rap song you said you wouldn't do. Get on with a white girl. Remember you made that song? It's like, you get up and you get on with a white girl. Like, he made that was like a big thing in the music thing, and he did exactly what he talked about. You don't get away with doing things, insidious things, and then being a genius over here. I mean, he could be a genius, but he's not perfect. And he's literally losing his mind trying to please and appease an audience of serpents, not serpents, of Satanists. You know what I mean? I don't really respect it. And, how are you going to respect a man who's basically let a demon seed his children? His mom losing his life has a lot to do with why his mind has never been correct after that. But once you let that demon birth your children, you're already lost, because everything she does is going to put you in harm's way, because she'll use them as leverage over your consciousness. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying that. I don't want to go too deep into him. I wish him well. I wish his family well, but that brother is lost in the sauce. He's going to constantly keep making himself and look like a desperate groupie of the fashion industry. The fashion industry doesn't have respect for him because he's not a creator. He disrespected creators that he basically copyrighted off of. He stole somebody else's style and then try to put it out as his own. I respect creators. If you're a creator, like when he was doing music, he was a creator. That's where he should have stayed. When you get into the fashion industry, that's a whole nother, ball game. I don't really get too deep into that, but again, I wish him well. Let's keep it going. Let's go on to the pole shift, and then I'm gonna have to leave you fine family. Okay, Kim Push, blonde, skinny, inheritance queen, Paris Hilton out on I agree. They've been spirit cooking him since they began. That's why your mama told you not. Some of you men need to realize there's certain women's houses you should never eat out of. There's certain women you shouldn't eat, and there's certain women's house you shouldn't eat at. You shouldn't eat, and you shouldn't eat at her house. If you're doing either of those things, you've got a problem. You need to validate and qualify someone before you taste their food, their goodies in every aspect. Okay? Just men, you got to do that because she's cute. Because let me tell you, some of you sun stars, you need to start verifying these C stars, not even C stars, these women that you are putting on these high pedestals, these artificial constructs of a lower consciousness or not even zero consciousness. If just because what did you ever listen to BDP's A Big Butt and a Smile, that girl is poison. Remember they told you that? Because she looks good, because she could put a tutorial of makeup on her face every day, doesn't mean she's right. A woman who has to mask herself or look like something different every day and she never wants to show you who she is, that's somebody you wouldn't want to be the mother of your children. And if you don't want her to be the mother of your children, there's no such thing as hit and run anymore. Anytime you stick your wand in something low vibrational, it's gonna take you in. You know what I mean? You always assume that you could just hit and run. It isn't that kind of party anymore. You keep sleeping with women of mass destruction and then wondering why your children are being raised like savages. That's your fault for not verifying and and getting with somebody who has higher consciousness. You disrespect the women that are sweet, who stay home, who read books, who like to do herbalism, who don't curse, who don't put on tons of makeup, who are not trying to be fake. You disrespect them. You sleep with other women behind their back, and then you talk about them with your homeboys, talk about them and demonize them and embarrass them. And then you wonder why your children are nightmares? It's because you're the nightmare and you getting with low vibrational females. You're sticking your seed in the wrong garden. The garden is rotting. And then you have a problem with the baby's mother. You needed to check that before you check yourself, before you wreck yourself. I don't have any sympathy for some of you males either. Females, you know how I get on y'all. You know what I mean? If he can't even respect you for who you naturally are, that isn't something you could be with long term. Because remember, when all the sexiness and everything goes out the door, it's gonna be your friend who rocks with you to the end. When someone's your friend, when they love you for who you truly are, when they can sit with you on your highs and your lows, when you're fat, you're skinny, when you're having a hard day, when you're sick and you're well, when they can rock with your family, when they can respect you and honor you, and they don't let other people, they don't talk about you behind your back. Those are the people you rock with, men and women. We got to stop doing that. Because she looks good doesn't mean she's good. A lot of the men, big up to Colombia, because Colombia has beautiful women. Let me state this first. No hate coming over here. Colombiana women are beautiful. But men are coming over here in Colombia and getting stolen from and killed. Because they're coming over here, because most of the men who come over here that can't get a decent woman in the United States because he's unwilling to be challenged or to lift his vibration. So he comes to what he considered to be a third world country where he feels like women are more limited fiscally. But what he doesn't realize is these women are up on the American men, and they've realized that they love their homeboys here, but they're gonna use you for your money. Because you came over here with the wrong ideology. You don't come over to someone else's country and, excuse my language, ish on the women here and someone else's daughter, because you lack self-mastery and self-control, because women in America won't deal with that nonsense. So you come over here and try to do it to these beautiful women. They up on you. And right now, when men are coming over here, coming over to Colombia, they're getting on here and they're getting stolen, they're getting drugged and stole, because you're coming over here with the wrong vibration and you're trying to take advantage of someone else's daughter. It's disrespectful. If you can't make it there, you're not gonna make it here. And because Rosita looks good doesn't mean she's for you. She's for her men over here. Because from what I know from the Sea Stars over here, they like their men. They love strong alpha men. Remember, men here didn't cope and give up to all the vaccines. Not all the men did that here. These men over here are like the gauchos. These are like, they can build a house. They can take care, protect their families. They can do all that. So don't think you're gonna come to someone else's country and mistreat their daughters and think that because these women are beautiful, they're just open and receptive to you because you have dead presidents. There's a consequence for your poor, low-field behavior. You think you're going to stick your wand in all kinds of women and think you're going to get away with it. No, you're going to be met with some Rositas who are up on you. Just a warning to men who like to come in Colombia and think that because you can't handle the women of the U.S. because they have higher consciousness and they're up on you, that you think you're going to come to another country and disrespect other women here. They got some for you too, okay? Okay, let's let me because I see it, you know. We went over here today, you see a lot of the men coming over here, but they, you know, listen, I talked to the nieces, they ready for you. Think you're gonna come over here and get over in them? It's not gonna happen. Anyway, big up all to my Latina Colombiana sisters who are holding it down with high vibration. You got some beautiful high vibrational Colombiana women. I respect you. I love your country. I love what you do. I love how you hold it down for your family. I respect it. And I wouldn't let any man come over here around me who will come to your country and disrespect you and your daughters. I will always uphold myself and respect where I come. When I come into your country, I always take off my shoes before I walk in your door. Okay? Okay, so let's get into one last thing. Let's get into the pole shift, and then I gotta go. Okay, so the pole shift that's happening, reset is happening, y'all. It's within 2 years. The vibration that you're to uphold has to be the highest. The rapture is literally being so high that the rainbow vibration, the rainbow bridge comes right at rapture. And from what I know, extraterrestrial, like I said, we're gonna do big up to everyone. We're gonna do, for anyone who's gonna join us on Patreon, we did a remote viewing with the MERS. We went underwater and we did a remote viewing in the waterways, which we found out a lot. We're actually going to do the remote viewing past the firmament, past the ice wall. So some of you want to join that, you can join us. We're probably going to end up doing that within the next 2 or 3 weeks, and preparing for that remote viewing. The last one was powerful. We went underneath the water and we found out a lot. We're going to go past the firmament. Before the pole shift, and before the full cataclysm, there's going to be 2 things that happen before the cataclysm. Well, two things that happen. No, there's 2 things that happen after the ascension or the rapture, whatever you call it. I don't know what to call it because it's what it is. You have all that you need. Let me state this. As much as we get down and speaking the truth, remember, this is the age that comes in. Every time that there is a pole shift or a reset coming, the flooding into the stratosphere, it's like the ionosphere has all truth. Every truth that you need to know, that you're going to know, that you require to know before the ascension, you have access to. Everybody does. It's in the air. Truth is in the air. That's like the 100 monkey syndrome. Once every bit of fat, everything that is in the ionosphere, is like the telephone, you know, how do you use a cell phone, is because it's in the ionosphere. So every bit that you need to know, but you have to qualify to gain, to be able to access the information. So what I mean by qualify, once you raise your vibration or your frequency to a certain index and you get there, then you'll notice, you ever notice, because some of you do it all the time, you get to this certain index, then all of a sudden, all of this information starts coming in a higher arena. It's like, well, where did this come from? Why didn't I know this previously? Like, how did this just come about? It's because once you raised your bar, the information at that level starts to come, because it's like turning the channel. You wouldn't hear music from another channel because you weren't on the channel. But as soon as you start finagling with the channel, you get a channel and it sticks, then all of this new music comes, like, ooh, you know, you start hearing all this great music. You hear all these new, you know, DJs, like, wow, why didn't I know this channel exists? Because you didn't qualify for it. Okay. Whenever you get to another level, you qualify for more information. That's why it's very important. As much as we know, and we know the information, all this information that's out here, that's also why they overwhelm you with a lot of dark information, because it lowers your vibration. Because the more that you worry, the more that you fear, the more that you lower it. Being aware and observing from a distance, a safe distance, without constantly inserting yourself in that vibration, will keep you safe. And it'll keep you constantly elevating. So the key is, this is the key, and I'm going to give it to you, is that remain in a frequency that constantly elevates. And the more that, and that's why I say the Zoomies, big up to the Zoomies. Oh, hey, Ireland Clark. Can you touch on false new age narratives? I will. Thank you, Ireland Clark. I'll talk about that, because in the false narrative that they're doing is they'll tell you that oh, being a vegan, it makes you healthy and safe. A lot of vegans are dying, and they were some of the healthiest people. They were some of the people that died initially from being so depreciative of nutrients, because obviously our crops are nutrient deficient. You know, the soil hasn't had nutrients because they're not composting. They're constantly over farming on land that wouldn't give vegetables nutrients, and we're eating things that are being genetically homogenized. Seeds are taking out, like when you come here to Colombia, I love this because even more than Brazil, like even the little grapes have seeds. Those seedless things make seedless people. So those are part of the agenda. Also, constantly telling people everything's going to be okay. Like one of our C stars, you know, Marsha D likes to say, the hopium, the Q people, constantly say, oh, well, everything's going to happen. Oh, these people are helping us. The white hats, the black hats. Anybody using that terminology, white hats, black hats, they're already usurped, meaning that they're participating in the agenda. White hats, black hats, there's no such thing. There's literally you. You are the only one who can uplift yourself. There isn't any working on your behalf. Why do they do that? They want you to believe that someone else is working and doing the good on your behalf so that you'll be apathetic and you won't do anything to improve yourself. So if you thought that they're blowing up the dumbs and they're gonna have this new currency and you're gonna have all these things come to you free and clear and you don't have to do anything except sit and watch, that's untrue. You are a participant in your own elevation. There isn't anybody who's going to do that on your own behalf. If you hear anyone telling you that someone else is doing something for your benefit, that isn't true, unless it's part of your own collective that you've created in your own stratosphere. Okay, so no, there aren't any white hat, black hats. That's all an agenda. That's all that was all orchestrated and created by this whole Q system. There isn't any money that's going to come to you because money is evil. Anything that takes dead trees and utilizes their skins to create fiat and exchange, that's demonic. Why does everything that has value is dead? Dead presidents, dead artists, dead trees, dead animals. Everything in this holographic experience is death oriented. That is how you know we're living in a upside down holographic prison system with a whole bunch of sociopathic psychopaths, because everything obsessed with death, blood, everything fighting, war, everything, dead presidents, everything that's illuminated is death. Even Halloween, like people just go around dressing people. When is the last time you've seen wonderful shows on love, falling in love? When's the last time that you've watched a movie where the couple meets or there's lots of comedy, which it's happy and blissful, and you walk away from the movie theater like, yay. If you notice, all of the movies that you're seeing now are dark. They're about murders, they're about molestation, they're about all kinds of darkness. There isn't any happy movies anymore. When's the last time you've seen a video game that was held to a high esteem for young people that actually had something good come from playing the game? So you don't see anything that's good for you that they're instituting. So stop putting all of your eggs in a basket with people that are Satanists, and they aren't even, some of them aren't even human. Some of these are basically inserts of other beings that are in humanoid bodies with skins on them. They're wearing masks. So all this white hat, dark hat, Q this, Q that. Q's not doing anything for you. And if Q was doing anything for you, he's a Satanist, and he's probably waiting for the adrenochrome that you would bring with your children. Okay? So be careful with all of those psyops, or people who will give you a whole bunch of truth and then say, well, if you accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and personal Savior, that's another cap. That's another keeping you here. So they give you there's a lot of YouTubers that are big into Jesus and big into spirituality based on religion. Religion is a cap. It was socially engineered and created to collect a certain type of person and to keep them constantly bound to the concept that something outside of themselves is above them and going to control the narrative and make everything right. Okay, so that is in itself, when you know that they are socially engineered and suffering from a form of Stockholm syndrome. So I'll hear people that are mad intellists, like they'll say, oh, this is happening, the 5G tower, blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden, well, you can make it right if you accept Lord and Jesus Christ as your Lord and personal Savior. Where did that come from? You were just dropping all this science. And then all of a sudden you bring up the Lord and personal Savior, Jesus Christ. What did that have to do with anything? So I'm just saying you be careful, because you're looking for a savior. And we've had tons of teachers, amazing master teachers, Dr. Deborah Blair, a host of teachers that have passed, Kate Welsing, Dr. Sebi. You had amazing people who taught us about the things that we need, about nurturing our body, caring about ourselves, knowing that there are beings outside of here, knowing how to, protect our energetic fields, knowing how to basically, listen to our inner voice, not to put too much stake on things outside of yourself. We had amazing teachers. Many of you, like teachers back in the days who taught you things. Dolores Cannon, who talked about, coming into this incarnation and why, there were certain people who chose to come at this particular time. If some came as volunteers, some came to basically come to this point of ascension. I mean, we had amazing people who came here who really helped to raise our level of understanding, overstanding, and get us to a pinnacle point where we can start raising ourselves. A mother is not going to always stay around to hold you on your bike so you can ride with your tricycle. Those extra wheels come off your bike, and one day you're meant to ride yourself. One day you're meant, the mother bird helps the baby birds at the initial part, but inevitably her goal is to make it so that the baby birds can fly on their own. They're independent in their flight. So it's the same with us. We get these wonderful pinnacle, amazing teachers when our soul is at a very young level, and then when we get to a point, we're supposed to evolve on our own. We're supposed to use those tools and utilize that as a jumping off point to get to higher layers of consciousness. So that being said, for the gentleman who asked, what are some of the things that are being generated by those other, so-called love and light communities, fake conscious communities? A lot of these people, if not 99% of them, are all instituted. They're agents. And I can tell you for a fact that they've all, if they are sitting here coming on with comfortably talking every day with high people subscribe to them, and their videos aren't being cut off, they aren't being demonized, they aren't being vilified, they're not being, things being cut off, that's a sign that they're in alignment with the agenda. Okay? That's all it is. So, that being said, I want you to just be, be your own cheerleader. Okay? Be your own frequency, defibrillator. You do that yourself. You round yourself off and you top yourself off. There isn't anybody who's going to do it for you. Okay? So that being said, we got about reset is coming, and before reset and before the event, there's two events that happen before, but I just said this before there's two events that happen after the ascension. I don't like to use the word ascension because it's kind of too fuddy-duddy. Ascension or the rapture, whatever you want to call it. It's basically your ability to exit this holographic game. It's when you get too high, too far up, and there are going to be openings, portals that happen. Now, these portals are usually located in places that they put the darkest things so that you'll be afraid to go there. If you want to get an idea of what I'm talking about, I want you to watch The Never Ending Story. I love that show. The Never Ending Story. Remember that? If you remember when a trail had to meet at the end, and his last challenge was to meet his greatest challenge. His greatest challenge was a mirror of his self. Okay? So at the pinnacle point when we're going to be able to transmit ourselves out of this holographic extreme, there are places where those portals are, where are the darkest things happening. Like Chicago, I think there's probably multiple portals there because there's so many murders in Chicago. Haiti, there's probably multiple portals in Haiti. That's when they abuse people, so many people dying. I would think of Philadelphia because you have a big drug area where people look like demons have just crawled into them. They're possessed. I think there's multiple portals there. Anywhere where you see a constant bombardment of soiling or causing havoc there, it makes me think that there's portals there. Okay? Iraq, countries that are highly bombarded, those are places that's the deterrent. I'm not saying you should go there. I'm just saying that those places are where there are probably portals. There are going to be multiple portals. And remember when we had the the monoliths that showed up. I think those were measuring the perimeter or where the portals are. Remember when the monoliths were showing up all over the place? It started in Utah, like a fixture. The monoliths showed up like a fixture, and nobody knew what it was, and then it disappeared as soon as it came, and it came in multiple places. I think that was measuring the perimeters, or maybe the stratoscope of where those portals are. Okay, and those portals can only be accessed with a certain vibrational pattern or frequency. So if you want to exit or to ascend or to rapture out of this particular holographic, psychopathic, upside down world, you have to be of the vibration to be able to access whatever comes around. I personally think it's a rainbow bridge. I think that's why I think it's going to come as the rainbow bridge. And I think that's why I experience the rainbow energy. So, you know, I think at a point, make sure you aren't wearing, I think you'll be, make sure you aren't wearing blue, anything blue on your eyes. So make sure you aren't wearing blue contacts, any contacts with a field over a green field. And make sure you aren't wearing your glasses that have that. That's also why I think there's a lot more people wearing glasses, because they don't want you to see when it comes. Because when you see the bridge or when you see that area, you're going to know to go there. And I think they don't want you to see it. It's just, that's what I think at this point. I could be wrong, but I think they don't want you to see it. Remember the yellow brick road? We talked about that over the rainbow. I think you're going to see, because I saw the grid on the actual like this holographic thing. I saw like a yellow grid. So yellow brick road, yellow grid. So I think at the time when you're about to rapture, there's going to be a visual. That's what that rainbow event was about. I think I had to go through it because I'll recognize it. But the rainbow is what they're trying to make you stay away from. So keep the, Bird Box. I remember that. That's a good movie too. I got to go back to that and see what they meant by that. Remember, they wanted to keep you from going outside. So just stay away from blue contacts, you know, the blue dyes on the contacts, the glasses. Everybody's eyesight is getting better too. And I think, you were right. I think the reason, because my eyesight got better, Ons did, a couple of us did. I think that our eyesight has to get better at this time so we're able to see it. So that being said, also try to walk around in your house, just practice not wearing your contacts or your glasses and see how much your eyesight is enhanced. Okay. I think that's it for now, right? I talked so much, there's so much more to talk about, but I'm gonna go on with the zombies because it's getting late. And the zombies are waiting for me. Yes, the zombies are waiting for me, and I want to get something to eat before I get on the zombies. So, oh, Utah, Judah. Interesting. I want to thank everyone for coming in. Please put a like as you come in and exit the room. I really appreciate everyone for coming in this live. I do apologize for being gone so long. I'm back in South America. I'm in Colombia, beautiful Colombia. Big ups to the Colombianas, big ups to the Brazilians, big ups to everybody in South America. I'm really appreciative to be here. I do want to, the Patreon is in, I think, in the description. The Cash App, the Patreon are all in the description. If you feel like you want to come on tonight, by all means, join us. You don't have to, because it's unnecessary. I come to you, free and clear. And I really appreciate you coming on. I'm sorry I talk so fast. I do apologize. I do talk like this, and it's kind of hard because some of you are used to it, but I try to get it all out, and there's so much more. But I do appreciate, oh, it's nice to see you, Melody, High Priestess. I miss you, AJ, Melody, High Priestess, our other nieces, Kay, Apollonia, AJ, Jose. I miss you all. Come and join us. There's so much more happening within such a short period of time. You may feel a quickening. It's okay. But keep your vibration high. And remember, you want to be where you're celebrated, not just tolerated. Remember, that's my claim to fame. I want to be where I'm appreciated and celebrated rather than tolerated. Okay. So watch your vibration, watch the things you say, watch the things you think. Even myself, it's not just you, it's me too. Watch the things we think, the things we say, protect the babies, watch your cars, girls, you know, don't touch your car doors and stuff. Be careful because there's a lot of weirdos out here trying to snatch and grab, okay? And be in love, be in light, be ready, be illuminated, be happy, be gleeful, watch comedies, watch the old movies, listen to old videos, listen to heart. We'll talk about more of that tonight. You'll be right on time. And remember, all truth is here. There isn't anything that can be a lie to you unless you accept the lie. So if you're worried about not knowing something, raise your level, just to pull away from things that are kind of like bombarding you with negativity, or stop being negative, and you will get the truth. The truth is all out here. There isn't anything that can lie. Right now, every truth has coming out. So if you thought someone's lying to you, just wait a minute and you'll see it. All right, so I'm grateful for everyone joining. Thank you so much for joining me again. I hope this video stays up, really do. You know, YouTube tends to get up on me. They sweat at me. They sweat me, keep the rainbows alive. Listen, homies, rock them rainbows, and don't worry about what they're associating with it with. The rainbow is a beautiful energy, and that's what comes during the rapture or the ascension. It's the rainbow energy, the rainbow event. So be prepared for it, illuminate it, claim it. It's not just for one to claim, it's for everybody, okay? Can't stop, won't stop. I love you. Be well, be positive, and I'll speak to you soon. Peace. If I can exit, it won't ever let me exit. You notice that? They want me to stay on. Look at this. They won't let me get off. Oh, this is cool, y'all. Look, I'm trying to push the screen. It won't let me go off. It won't let me end.